Imagine being choked out by a guy that you had just met that night and you're unsure why. Now imagine this happening to two women in the same night by the same man. Imagine others listening to months of jail calls by this man where he clearly is jovial, he's laughing and playing, and he's showing absolutely no remorse for what he's done. Also, imagine him casually telling one of his girlfriends what he did to you. Imagine his father describing how excited he was when he described to him what he did to his women. Now imagine you're one of the women that he took off the face of this earth and you still don't know why. And you're just not within your body. Can't do anything you used to do. Can't be with your loved ones in the same way. And you're able to see lots of women lusting after this guy. And you're also able to see women giving him money, supporting him in a major financial way, making sure he's good while he's in jail, giving him money for, snacks and, essentials and maybe some protections to buy friends. Now imagine also watching women trying to get him out of jail, saying that he didn't get a fair trial, he doesn't deserve to be in jail. When he, in fact, did it, evidence shows he did it, he happily admitted that he did it. And, of course, his father said that, he had to turn him in because he knew he'd do it to more women. And he said it, he admitted, yeah, I would. What would you think about that? Well, I know what I think about it. It's some people on this earth that we don't necessarily know how to describe them. But I think we'd be better off without them. Take a listen to this. This is a YouTube Streets channel, and he's talking about a bunch of women who seem to be having some kind of discord, but I guess their ultimate goal is to get Wade Wilson a new trial and get him out of jail. Yeah.
Mine is to look back and see all the stuff Maria's been talking about. Let's not forget, Maria's been snitching her ass off, been throwing other people on the bus, making this fake conspiracy of trying to get Wade out of prison so they can live happily ever after. But this is the thing, she never thought her name would get out there. So let's listen to Jesse talk on the Strange Embers podcast, and it's just so ridiculous knowing what we know now.
On the same relationship with him? Have they been able to be in touch with him in the same fashion?
I will tell you that I do probably speak to Wade more than other team members, and again, that's just because of the relationship we built. And being honest, it was originally Wade and I who kind of started this endeavor together and started.
It's funny. Listen to this now, right? And also keep this in perspective. Kiosk Kristen is still communicating with Jesse
and started Team Wade. Now, understandably, as over time as his popularity grew, so did our team, because you can't necessarily have a team with just one individual, right? We love our team members, but I will say I probably do speak the most with him about these situations, just because we truly have built that trusting relationship that has lasted for several months now. Our team is wonderful, though. They work 24/7, and we honestly couldn't do it without them.
Her team. They have a team. I have no idea who this woman is, but she has a team for Wade Wilson.
I wouldn't be able to keep it sane.
Well, Jesse, it looks like you might not have your team fully. It looks like Wade Wilson, Team Wade, is cut right down the middle, so you're not going to have the same support. I'm going to be surprised to see who actually stays behind you in this little run you guys are trying to do.
Be able to keep it sane, especially not having the communication with him right now. And really our main goal, again, is We're here to prove Wade's innocence, to tell his truth, truly get him a new and a fair trial, and to get him released from prison for these crimes that he did not commit, that we all fully believe in. We're not here to sexualize Wade, and we're not here because he's an attractive man. I don't think anybody will doubt that he's not. But you can see from our official social media pages that we're really focused on just telling his story and fighting for him to receive a fair trial.
So she's saying he's not attractive? Because she said, I don't think anybody would doubt that he's not. Okay. So she's saying she doesn't think Wade Wilson is attractive. I don't believe her.
Also, with you saying the way that Wade is, with wanting to protect you, even being in there, how much hatred, how much anger has been directed your way of being essentially the leader of this Save Wade?
I can't even express the amount of messages, honestly, that we receive on a daily basis, both positive and negative. There's been a lot of hatred and anger being directed not only towards Wade, but also our team, and even his supporters on a daily basis. It's been increasingly clear that public opinion is very skewed, and many are losing sight of the core issue at hand, which is ultimately the fact that Wade just deserves a fair and new trial, right? I don't think we can disagree on that. Now, again, many people believe that our support for Wade is just solely because of his appearance, and again, I can assure you that this is far from the truth, and that's why if you go to our verified social media accounts, you're not going to see these thirst traps.
What appearance? Is it the jumpsuit? The jail jumpsuit? Or is it the weird tats on his face?
Don't get me wrong, we think they're very funny and they're entertaining to watch, but you're not going to see those coming on our pages because we're here again to be focused on telling Wade's story and to get him a fair trial. Now, I'll tell you, a lot of our supporters, they've been absolutely incredible, but there's a global community of individuals who, there's a couple different things that they're focused on. One, many of them oppose the death penalty in general and don't believe in that. Two, they recognize the numerous inconsistencies in his case and the significant errors that have been made by not only his legal team, but the court proceedings as well. And then a third, they just believe that everyone, regardless of the crimes they're accused of, deserves a fair and impartial trial. I think the biggest thing that has directed a lot of hate and anger towards our way is the spreading of misinformation, speculation, defamation, harassment, and privacy invasions, which I'm sure you've seen. There's a lot that's going on social media right now about that. It's honestly reached alarming levels, and some social media platforms are even allowing it to occur on a daily basis. So I would say that that's probably causing a lot of that hatred and anger that's being directed our way, but I can't say we're allowing it to bother us.
Said also about the stuff that's out right now, so let's address this. With the phone calls from prison coming out now, there are exemptions with the way that you receive these kind of things. Are you familiar with that?
I am. We've been doing a lot of research on that, trust me.
All right. So in one of the exemptions, it says, exemption number 6 is information that, if disclosed, would invade another's individual personal privacy. Would you like to, can we discuss that for a minute?
Yeah, I would love to discuss this honestly, because this is definitely something that we have been looking into. Understandably, everyone is very familiar with the phone calls that are being released. Now, FOIA does allow for these calls to be released to the public when paid for and requested, so that's not anything shocking. I think what's more interesting is the fact that the calls that are being released have almost nothing to do with Wade's actual case and are just instead an invasion of privacy, and they're working on...
Okay, let's stop there. Maybe with Kiosk Kristen, it had nothing to do with the case, right? But with you are the power of attorney, and your whole conversation is about his living condition and the appeal process and his lawyer, so you're very contradicting what you're saying, and you sound like you're shaking in your boots, and it sounds like Kristen is definitely still talking.
And they're working on defaming his character, so I find that very interesting that we're choosing to focus on those versus one that actually might deal with specifically his case.
Okay, so she has a problem with the phone calls being released and played. Good luck with that one. And she's saying it's because it has nothing to do with the case. Well, darling, that doesn't matter. He's a ward of the state. So, he's a prisoner, aka a slave. And although he has, some rights, that's public information. That's why the public is able to get and hear it. He committed himself to being owned, basically, by the public, by us, when he committed these crimes and got convicted for them. So we can hear those phone calls all doggone day. And the people who go and talk to him, they absolutely know that the phone calls are being recorded and anybody who gets them can hear them. So if they decide to continue, that is on them.
Now, these jail calls, I want to remind people, they're recorded for and are intended for law and legal purposes only in case the jailer and defaming his character. So I find that very interesting that we're choosing to focus on those versus one that actually might deal with specifically his case. Now, these jail calls, I want to remind people, they're recorded for and are intended for law and legal purposes only in case the jail or prisons require them and need that information.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter why they were recorded. It matters that legally they are we're able to hear them. That's what matters. Nobody cares why they were recorded.
But specifically with this exemption that you stated before, as you mentioned, these calls cannot be released and utilized if that information is going to invade another individual's personal privacy.
This is all baloney and cat, by the way.
Calls are doing exactly that. They are affecting the individuals who are involved. And I will tell you that we have been in communication with those individuals and how they can take action going forward, and we're helping them with that.
So being that she wants, because this is what I'm getting from this is really easy. Being that she wants to get Wade off, she wants to suppress any information that could be used against him, which is kind of weird because if it's for the authorities, then they could get it and use it against him, correct? Okay. But she doesn't want the public to hear for sure because they want to be able to run a narrative that, hey, guys, I understand what you think, but here's what you should know. This guy is innocent. It would be pretty hard to sympathize with him in any way hearing those phone calls, right? But if you didn't hear him, you really wouldn't know all that now, would you? Now that's the reason.
Process. These creators need to remember that this is an ongoing court case, especially as we are ready here to start.
Is it? Because what is he doing? An appeal? Okay, that's cool. But listen, you cannot hold responsible or come at no creator or anybody who happens to get their hands on something properly and legally. You can't. Not at all, baby girl. You can go and try and talk to the people who are releasing them. Oh, wait, better yet, here's what you should do. Because let me tell you how to do your job. Since you clearly don't know. You can go and talk to the people who make the decisions about, recorded jail calls being released. That's who you can talk to. Other than that, we ain't trying to hear it.
The appeals process, and they're ultimately interjecting in it. They're making themselves liable with their involvement. And we just wanted to send a message as a reminder that...
Guess what? As one person who is doing commentary on the phone calls, baby, I'm scared. I'm scared because I don't want to be liable and, possibly, just hindering Wade Wilson getting his behind out of jail because he's so innocent.
Things like this will not continue to be
I hate to tell you this, but the case is closed, Jesse. Sorry.
I tell you, we've made a video.
Yeah, it sure has been. I know he gets an appeal or something like that, but homeboy got a life sentence. He got some other sentences. Oh, and he got the D to the E to the ATH penalty sentence upon him. So, you think we worried about you and Wade Wilson, baby girl? Huh? You trying to threaten low key people who are doing something that they have every legal right to do. Don't you like boo boo the fool? I'm glad you're not representing me.
It's about the jail calls as well, discussing them. It doesn't make us any more in the right or wrong or whatnot, but this is something that's came to light and I didn't know about.
Yeah, and we've been learning quite a bit with all the research we've been doing. And again, we want to be able to help the people too who are having their privacy invaded with these phone calls being released, because they also have lives too, right? And who they were several years ago, it does not necessarily mean they're the same person today. And
yeah, but you know what? We don't really care because that's pretty much the same for everybody. So, twins. But, the people that he was convicted of eliminating from the face of this earth, they don't have lives no more. Did you know that? Maybe you didn't. Huh. Yeah.
We want to be here to help them along the way because it is unfair that their names are being dragged through the mud.
Yep.
Actually, I don't see how you think that that's unfair. Let me tell you something, baby girl. What I think is unfair is that, Wade Wilson took away 2 women that, he didn't have a right to do that and they didn't do anything to him. And, I think it's also unfair that these women who he just so happened to not have done that to, decided they want to go up there and, give him some company and put money on his kiosk and, support him after he's done that. I think it's unfair to the families to know about this and to, have to hear it. That's unfair. That's unfair. It's unfair. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm one of the first ones to tell you. I mean, anybody that ever knows me is, if I'm in the wrong, I'll tell you I'm in the wrong. And with this coming out like that, I don't know if I'll do another jail call video. Especially not if it's just a, let's talk about our personal life or whatnot. It has nothing to do with anything. So I will say, I will go ahead and
see this is a person who has probably a popular channel, right? I don't know. The video just popped up, so I don't know who he is. But, sometimes when people get set up somewhere and they're really, satisfied with where they are and want to go higher even, and they're getting a little change and everything, got a little popularity and support, they do just about anything to keep that going. Just kind of like celebrities do. There's a price to pay for all that. And here you are seeing some of what that would look like. Yeah. This is some of what that would look like here. It looks kind of like this. Yeah. Because what he's scared for? What is he running for? Child.
Step out there and say, I apologize for what I was wrong in.
We're human. We live and we learn, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, I also, part of that I was going to say is you answer some of my questions. I mean, you're too good at this right now. I'll tell you that because you're answering some of my questions before I get a chance to ask them. But I was going to say
this could also be part of them working to, try and convince other creators who either don't know the business side of it or they won't even take the time to check. But, it comes with streaming. You got to check your legals. So there's that. But this could be part of them working together to help scare some other people into no longer playing any of the phone calls because they just happen to, not all be about his case. What? Shabba.
As far as the jail phone call is concerned, everybody that gets on one of those calls, they know they're being recorded. Mm-hmm. But the whole entire thing about the exemption is if it's nothing to do with a legal case, the recording of that, the intent for the recording of that is to be used in law. Not for, we're just going to pay our money, get the video.
You know how many different ways that I could argue that this is being used for law? That's assuming what he's saying is an actual written rule in reference to it. I'm not saying that he's correct. However, even if he's saying that and it's correct, do you know how many different ways I can give an argument? So just imagine someone who is professional giving an argument about how this is being used, in concerning the case. Because even just to, for public information or to do a social experiment, a study, for education. Child, please.
Get the tape or whatnot just to have craps and giggles about it.
Well, that's your take.
Yeah, I agree.
That's your take. What matters is if someone is called to court to defend themselves against it, then it matters what they are saying that they are using it for. You understand that? I hope so.
And honestly, that's what's happening right now. People are trying to utilize it to get more likes and more views on their pages.
Well,
they're trying to defame.
Just like y'all doing right now. Okay? So the whole you want likes, views, followers, and attention, that been played out a long time ago. Because what is anybody uploading for if they just don't want nobody to watch it, nobody to react. They don't want it at all. Just don't. You got to think about that one. Well, you go ahead, take your time. Take your time, baby. Take your time.
Wade's character, but the people that he has previously associated with as well, who again have, from what we've talked about, have completely changed since that time frame, right? Humans continue to adapt and change. That's who we are. And so, I mean,
all eliminators of humans probably have changed to some degree, one way or another, since they've done it. It's been a long time for some of them. A long time. They probably have changed. Life does that to people. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing? Oh, I didn't think so.
Personally say the person who I was 5 years ago is much different than the person I am today.
Nobody cares.
And honestly, it's really sad because people have families and they're being affected that way too, and they have jobs.
And so this lady is talking about Kristen right here, the 5 years thing. She keeps bringing up the 5 years.
Child, you boy, shut up. Did you bring up families? Because when you say that, you know what comes to mind? The families are the people that he eliminated, and just the fact that they were going up there and supporting this too, and laughing and joking and saying some other things about the women who have been taken away, and that actually does have something to do with the case, doesn't it? Because what else does it have to do with it?
She's talking about Kristen's daughter of having a job and families being affected. So you can see them, both of them are.
Well, honey, you need to learn how to hold people accountable, because that's on Kristen. Kristen put her daughter in this. Her daughter participated in it, and Kristen made this decision when she first went there. Everybody should know that anything you do could possibly affect your family, because that's just how the world works. You can walk around like you want to, and you can get in an altercation with someone at the grocery store. That don't mean you know hillbilly jack about that person in the grocery store and how they might want to retaliate against you. It does it. So I think that most people, when they walk around, they're thinking about their families. That's pretty much what keeps people in check a lot of the times. They're like, yeah, but the consequences, because you're taught that at an early age. Think about the possible consequences. The list is so long. Starting with one, I'll take the heat, because sometimes we feel away. We feel away, and it's if it's all about you, you're like, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm gonna take the consequences. I'm about to handle this right now. But you know what makes people stop a lot of times? Their children, their spouses, so on and so forth. Yeah, so, shit. Kiosk Karen, or whatever the heck her name is, she should have thought about that before she even started. So that would be a her thing and not a us thing. You understand? Okay.
Involved with Teen Wade.
And so it's not even about Wade at this point. They're affecting other individuals who have absolutely nothing to do with his court case. And it's truly putting a damper on their lives. And
Kristen was bringing him drugs, and Bonnie's part of his.
Boy, shut up. How can you imagine the audacity of somebody talking about somebody who went to go see somebody in prison and say that them going to see that person and having a recorded call has absolutely nothing to do with their court case? Well, the court case is what got him there. He wouldn't be there if he never had a court case which led to a conviction. Do you understand how that sounds? So silly. Oh, you're just as silly as you want to be, huh? Girl, stop being so silly.
Beautiful. It's still speaking about the phone calls, or just like you said, you get a lot of messages coming in, hate, love, whichever, comes both ways, right? Have any of them been actual threatening, people harassing you? Has there been anything that actually has you worried to be?
I'm sure that's about to change now they know who you are.
Of doing what you're doing right now.
It takes a lot to worry me, I'll be honest. I think I've learned quite a lot over the years, and how to handle stress and worry. I have luckily not received direct harassment, which is wonderful. Again, I can't speak necessarily to all of our team members because as of recently, we have had some who aren't necessarily, I would say, part of Team Wade, but are others who are helping to support us in our goals and our missions who have been called out and have been harassed horribly due to their involvement. I'm not really afraid of the harassment, though, I'll say. I'm not, it doesn't scare me. I came into this knowing the risks that would be associated with working with Wade. And I knew that I would need to be able to accept it. And like you said, have a tough skin. And I like to think I have very tough skin here. I'm not someone who lets things get to them. And I truly can just focus on what needs to be done in order to help Wade and, again, get a new and fair trial. Now, I will tell you what does concern me is the level of harassment and hostility, not only directed towards Wade, but towards his supporters as well, too, on social media, because I do truly believe that we are all allowed to have our own opinions. And the harassment is just unnecessary, right? If you don't like what we're posting, I don't necessarily think that there's a reason why you need to comment on those posts. But again, to each their own. I'm a very protective person, though, as well, too, myself. So this is why it concerns.
If you don't like what we're posting, because, I just want to give you what you gave us. If you don't like what we're posting, dear, then just don't worry about it. Don't pay attention to it. Don't listen to it. Don't do none of that. You see how you, girl, you gonna be all right.
Concerns me so much. I care more about our team members and how they're feeling necessarily than the heat that could come towards me on this. Again, the misinformation, defamation, and the invasions of privacy are reaching really troubling levels. And so many people are just latching onto this information without investigating it for themselves, and they're ignoring the real issues at hand.
Listen, when people post content, you are not responsible for the mindset and the actions of others. Okay, if you gonna do that, then try to hold everybody who posts anything, put out anything, make any kind of movie, video, song, anything. Hold them responsible for how people react to it. You see how that we can't do that? Okay, I just want to make sure we on the same page, because I don't know what book you reading, but baby, that's not the page I'm on. Okay.
The focus has truly shifted from a legitimate discussion around Wade's chance at a fair trial and truly the broader debate on the death penalty to baseless personal attacks. And that goes back to the phone calls from prison being released. It is very unsettling to our team overall. It's very unsettling to me. I know it's very unsettling to Wade to hear the harassment that our team has received, as well as his supporters. But we are truly, truly dedicated on helping anybody who is being affected directly by it. And is being, like I said, having their character defamed as well, too, through it.
So, anywho, this is YouTube Streets, spelled with a U, just in case y'all wanted to know. And this is the crap that they put up today. And I really just thought it was him doing commentary on the situation. I had no idea that it was going to be this. Child, please.